Hello everybody, I thought I would turn the camera on because I'm so out of the whole rhythm of making videos that I'm pushing myself to remember to turn the camera on. And today I thought I would have a play around with the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. We have our first page to do and I'm excited to get started. So I've got my little book here. And I've got all those in a video already, so I need to take out my next piece of fabric that will be going there and start on that one. Okay, we'll put this to one side for the time being, if I can find a spot. Okay, I have my little felt mat out that has come in very useful. I got this as a Christmas present for myself back in 2020 and I have used it so much. It was such a good gift for myself, and I do recommend, if you can get one, to get one because they're just wonderful, and I've noticed a lot of people use them. Okay, so we need to start with a background. I think the background, the prompt was vintage lace and the embellishing was bouncing bunny. I don't think I'll go with bouncing bunny, but I'll go with rabbit. I'm not cutesy kind of driven, so I'll go with rabbit for mine. And I want to find a background. I have an idea in mind that I'm excited to give a go, but I just need to find a darker kind of coloured background. Oh, hang on. Okay, so I got stuff here, and I've just got my box full of bits of fabric, and I'm after a darker colour to start with, and there's a couple here. So I've got this table napkin. I've also got this blue fabric here, but I don't. So I can either use that blue there, and I use that on the title page, that fabric. Oh, there's a nice blue here. It's got a stain on it by the look of it. See that stain? But I don't need all, you know, a huge piece. I'm just wondering whether that one might be too dark for what I'm wanting to do. But I don't want to use the same fabrics all the time. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm just trying to picture it in my mind. There won't be a lot of it that's visible. I could use the green as the background, because that's quite bright, that one. Maybe I'll use the green and I can piece a couple of pieces together. Okay, let's start with that. Alright, so it's much darker on that side, isn't it? Is the green's much darker on that side too. I'll cut a couple of pieces first and see how we go. Okay, get some scissors. So just do that. See how it rips first, and I will do that. So what day is it? It's Friday here today, so it's taken this long to sort of being able to sit down and do something. So okay, I can cut that into two pieces and patch the background, which is, it's not really any different than, you know, collaging out of different pieces. So that will be the start. Okay, so let's just cut. How big do I want? I don't quite want it that big, so perhaps. Okay, about there and there. And oh gosh, look at that. Isn't that wonderful? This is, I hope this fabric will be all right after all this. Keep those. They'll come in handy for something. Probably it wouldn't have been bad. I might just trim. I'll keep one side shabby, I think. And I'll get a straight edge perhaps. Do I? Let's have a look, because I don't quite need them. I only need them about that big, so maybe I will I'll cut this one. Okay. Cut that one. Like that. And put it like that. Okay. So that's a start. And that's the other side. Oh, I've got to make sure I've got the right sides, don't I? I think that's the same, exactly the same, isn't it? I don't know if it makes any difference. Oh yeah, that one's different. Okay, so we shall keep it that way, like that. Okay, so that's that part done. I might just trim that down a bit. Put those to one side. And now I want some more neutral colours for the background, for around there. So let me have a look. I've got some lovely linens, because I don't want that. I prefer them all quite neutral, so I do have, oh, I've got this. That might be a bit too bright for what I'm after, but I've got this lovely, this was an old tablecloth, and I made a cushion cover from it for my mum. And these are the bits that are left. I've got quite a bit left actually, but there are stains in places. But this could work quite nicely. And I'll just cut that like that. That could work, couldn't it? And I could have that down there. Like that. Do we want the same in the centre there? I'm not sure. It might be nice to have something a little bit different. I do have this. Now, this, I think this came off the bottom of some pantaloons. You see how I've got two of them the same. It's like that. So if you think of the bottom of a pantaloon and then it all kind of, you know, maybe gathered or just left free and easy. But that's what I'm thinking they are. And they're all, they're really lovely actually. Look at the embroidery on that. Isn't that beautiful? It's just lovely. But I think I would lose too much of that, and I don't want to waste such a nice piece like that. So let's have a look. I've got this one I could use. I do want to put, see, okay, let's have a play here, because I want that under there, like that. Okay. So I don't want lace on the back, because I want to put lace on this part here. It's too white. Is that too white? This is an old bed skirt, and it's just got a nice line effect going through it. It was the ruffle. See how it's kind of gathered on one side? Maybe I could use a bit of that. No, something a little bit more exciting perhaps. this, because I only need a little bit. Maybe how much do I need? Maybe, let's see. I don't know. No, I need to cut that. It's going to look any good before I go any further. I think that could be alright. So if I cut it sort of on that line there, out there. And that will be big enough if I just cut that in half. Oh, it reminds me of the blocks I'm doing at the moment for Circle of Friendship, and that's not intentional. It's just the way it's actually going. So I didn't really want that to look the same. So maybe I love this one down here. Maybe I'll change that up there, and we won't make it the same. We'll change it up a little bit, and use different fabrics on it. After all, what's that? Oh, that looks lovely. Oh. These fabrics, some of them are from Forage, and they're really beautiful, and you don't want to cut into them, but that's what they're there for. So that one could work quite nicely, couldn't it? And I love the old stitching on that, to be honest. Maybe a little bit of that, maybe there. If I cut that like there. Ooh, it's so old, it rips far too easily. That there. Okay, so that's a lovely piece, isn't it? I kind of want to keep those little stitchy marks there, so I'll put it on that way, I think. Maybe we'll put that like that and that like that. Okay. And find something else for over here. What's that? See, I've got this. It's really old. It's got these tassels on the other side. But that's quite neutral there, isn't it? But it's not the right colours, so we won't use that. Okay, so my basket's getting messy already. It'll only get worse. Add a bit of that going down there. It was supposed to be quite neutral, and it's not turning out as neutral as I thought it was going to turn out, but that's okay. That's okay. Oh, be careful. Oh. Okay. It's a really old piece of linen as well. that. I think that could work. I'm just going to cut that excess off there. I'm hoping this works out. Okay, now I need some pins. Keep all those, I think. Put them over there. Pins. Okay. One's bent. Let's try not to get bent pins. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the invisible stitch method to anchor this all on. And I used that. I used the method on all of these pages. If you you might not be able to see it, but it kind of winds its way up all the way, these strips here. You don't see them at all on the front. It's lovely. I think that's the way Rachel's done hers as well. I've done it on here, which might be a bit easier. Yeah, that's easy. See the stitches going across like that in the lighter thread? See them here? But you don't see them on this side at all. And I like that, so I think I'll use that same method throughout. So I pin and then I sew. I don't do the tacking in between, but that's just a personal choice. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I may show you a little bit of stitching, but I think that needs to be just pulled down a little bit. There. Try not to let my pages grow any bigger than what they are. A little bit's okay, but I'm trying to keep to the size of the white backing fabric, because these things grow if you're not careful. They just grow and each page ends up bigger than the last, so so I'll turn the camera off now and then I'll be back shortly. So I'm almost finished, and I'll just show you how I do it. I've got my thread coming out there, and I'm just taking a very small stitch right next to it. You can do it behind it or in front of it, up to you. I usually go beside it, just a tiny little one, and come out about an inch across, and then just keep doing that. And you barely see them. Sometimes you can't even see them. Getting those stuck a little bit, so I'm just pulling them out so you can't even see that one. Use a coloured thread that you think will be hidden the best. I've just used what was in my sewing machine, but it's a neutral, I think it's a white or just off-white colour. But I didn't start with this colour. I actually started, and it was a darker, it's almost a greeny beige colour, but you can't see it. You can't see it at all, so it worked. It just blended into the fabrics, which is nice. I think there's only one little stitch somewhere. I think that's it there. Yeah, just down here, there's one tiny little stitch I can see, but that will probably be covered when I do my stitching on the background. And you probably wouldn't notice it anyway, because it's only I know it's there that I can point it out to you. Other than that, it just looks like a fleck in the fabric. And here I'm just kind of going along where that little stitch line is in the fabric there, and so it'll never be seen there anyway. And then I'll be done. I did try and position, you know, where the fabric overlapped. I made sure I got a couple of stitches on those parts just to hold it nicely flat, and it didn't take long at all. It didn't take long at all. Like here, for instance, whoops, got my pin stuck. Okay, here for instance, I have like a little cross section where I've got this fabric and this fabric. It's a nice overlap. Sometimes you don't get that much of an overlap. But what I'll do, instead of taking a stitch that's an inch long, I'll come in just the other side of it there. So, you know, maybe 3/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch, and make sure I get the edge of it in, and then just keep going from there. And this is done. And I did start from the center of my piece. You can see here where it's a darker thread. I started here and I worked my way along like that, going down, and then I ended it. I did change threads, and then I worked my way going the other way, and that way it just helps that everything lays nice and flat when you're finished. So that's my basting done. There we go, and I made sure I put little stitches just on the inside of this little part here as well. Oh, it's really hot here today. Okay, so I'm going to have it that way, like that. So I need to do background stitching on this, and my rabbit's going to be quite fanciful, and around here is going to be quite fancy. So I'm going to just do some running stitches or borrow stitching along the whole of the back of it. So you can see the fabrics, and so that it's the whole thing's not over the top, just certain parts of it will be more elaborate than other parts. And I'm really hoping that, you know, the idea that I've put together for this is going to work out quite nicely. I haven't done it before, what I'm going to do, so that's always a little bit scary. So I just need to find a thread or some see, I've got this, which is I think a perlade, which might work nice as a background thread just all over. Although I could do like that one going that way, and that one going that way, and that one going that way, and that's what I might do actually. I just might have that vertical and vertical and horizontal there, like that. That might work. Okay, and because the pesky pins are now gone, I can, you know, I can hold the fabric really easily to do my stitching on the background. So I'll just show you. We all know how to do this because Rachel and Sarah have taught us, and if you did any of the stitcheries from last year, you'll know how to do it as well. So I'll just find a needle. Look at my pin cushion. It's just completely covered in needles threaded from projects I'm working on at the moment. There we go. Oh, okay, done. And I also need to... Oh, Sarah showed how to do the quilter's knot, and I am forever grateful, because for years, well, not years, for ages I've been trying to learn how to do these simple ways of doing knots. Finally I can do that way. I've tried the other way and I have such a hard time with it, but this one I can do, and so I'm very happy with it. Okay, so I think we will start here. Do I want to take it right to the edge? I don't want to come in on this stitching line, because I kind of want to keep that. If I can, I might not be able to. I'll come in between it and see how that goes. And I'm just going to do a running stitch, probably a quarter of a, oh, I don't know. Oh, that's not a good needle. Like that, yeah. I may have to come up and do one a bit closer. This needle's very stiff. It's quite humid here at the moment. We've had a lot of rain, and it is our summer, so it's very humid, and I don't know whether humidity affects needles or not. I have my strawberry. I was sent this lovely strawberry years ago for one of my challenges. It's actually full of emery, and every so often I can just go like that with my needles, and it helps to sharpen them a little bit. So let's see if that helps a bit, shall we? Oh, it just got me in the finger, so I know it's sharp. So you don't want to see me stitching. I'm not a fast stitcher at all. Now I've got to be careful, because I'm staying between these lines, but those lines aren't exactly straight, so I need to come down a little bit. Now this doesn't have to be perfect sewing by any means, but I still want to get it fairly straight. Okay. It's right on the edge, but that's okay now. So yeah, that'll be fine. So that's all I'm going to do. I am going to be doing this stitching, and I'll probably put a video or something on and watch a couple of videos while I do this, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when I've done. I do want to do some stitching on here as well, but I'll have to think about whether I want to do it now or whether I want to do that later. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I have done all the stitching around the edge pieces there, and that's the back of it. And I've just started doing some seed stitching in this section here, but rather than fill it all in with the seed stitching, I've just cut out the image that I want to do in the center, and I'm going to position it where I might like it, probably about there. And then roughly kind of draw a little bit in so that I don't have to do seed stitching everywhere. So like that. Get my pencil underneath the edge and just do that to give myself a guide. Might need to turn this around like that. There we go. I think that might work. There we go. So that's the rabbit outline that I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to make it out of fabric. And that I've just free-handed that, so just in case anybody's interested. So there's my outline going up like that and up like that. Okay, so I want to be seed stitching on the outside of this line. I'm just using 2 strands of the embroidery thread. Whoops, that one's a bit too short. And just doing some seed stitch. I'm not doing them too short, too small, because my running stitches aren't too small, so I want to keep it fairly even. And that's pretty much what I'm going to continue. I just wanted to show you how I was doing the seed stitches around there, and how I'm going about doing the image as well. I'll be back again once I've done all my seed stitching, which, because I don't have to do all that inner part, won't take me as long, thankfully. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, so that's done, and I've just left that little area there. What I want to do now, though, before embellishing, because I think that might be a different video, that one, is put a bit of lace on here, because the prompt was to use some vintage lace. Dee Dee sent these lovely laces to me, so I thought I might have a look at what's in here. So we might start with this one, which is a lovely little vintage lace, and I think I've got enough of this. I just don't know if it's, because I don't want it to just be a lace edge like that. I kind of wanted it a bit different to that. I used to have a beautiful, like, real gnarly type of lace, but I think I've used it all. What's in here? Okay, I've got another bag of lace here, and I've got vintage, and this was from Lynn Harris quite some time ago, this one. And in here there's a bit of tatting with that that might, oh, I know what I could do with that. I could use some of that. Like, cut a couple of the little leaves off it and use it in with other lace, so I could do that. So I might just leave that one out. I want a that one's a bit too pristine looking. I need a more tatty kind of lace, so for this particular page. I won't use, unless, see there's, oh, I could use maybe some of that. There's this lovely dotted lace, but it might be, I think it's too wide unless I kind of, it's a bit too wide. It's a bit too wide for what I want. There's this other beautiful one too. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? Oh, I wonder if I could... let's just have a look. Put that over there. I just want to see if it will act the way I want it to act. It's so delicate, this lace. It's really pretty. It might do. I might use some of that. So we'll leave that out. Put those away. That's from DD. I still want another one though. What's that? Look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? So I wonder if I can just... I could use a bit of this as well. And that, perhaps. Okay. I'll cut a little bit of this off. And play with that. That's really old, beautiful, beautiful lace. Just looking in there, there's lots of little beautiful. Sort all that out. Okay, that's a good start on what I want to do. So I'll start with the thicker lace, and I want to get all that down. I may end up trimming bits off, but I want to see what it looks like with them left on first before I kind of trim them off. Okay, I'll have to come back to this because I've got to go and fix dinner. I don't want to start and then have to stop, so I'll be back. I've been having a little play with this lovely lace here, and what I've done, I'll just lift that up and show you. So I've just started runching a little bit and sticking pins in through the piece to my mat here, just to get an idea of what I can do with it, whether that's the kind of effect. And then I've twisted it up a little bit there, and I quite like that effect, but I don't want to continue it like that all the way, so I might just kind of cut that on an angle there and have that just finishing, and perhaps start with that, and that little tiny bit, see I've got that, and that could be used to continue it up a little bit. And then see, what I thought might be nice is things like, you know, just adding a little leaf, and then I can stitch some like bullion knot flowers on it and things like that once I've got the lace down. So I think the first job will be to put this piece of lace on. Let's just put my laces to one side. Always end up with too many. Let's scissors around, because what I want to do is kind of lift it up a bit like that, so it does stay in that position a bit, and then just, you know, just put the pins through. I mean, that will all be adjusted to my liking as I do it, but just so it kind of stays a little bit the same. I might take those ones out because I might end up with, you know, a little bit more, and I don't like the way that part there is laying, so I'll just more like that, I think. And I'm going to like stab stitch it, just to little stitches, just to keep it in position, because I don't want it all down. I want it to have some sort of movement. Let's see what we've got over here. I've got a bit of this that might be a bit light though, so I'll get some nice fine thread. That one's, oh, what's this one here? Is that the same? I think that one. This one's a bit shiny, whereas this one doesn't seem too shiny. So I'll get a bit of that and use some of that one. Use that needle there, I think. And it's not the needle that was causing me problems, it's the thickness of the fabric I'm using. It's quite thick, and it's, I can feel a callus or something coming on my finger. It's quite hard to get through in some places. Some of the, this particular one, where the print is, it must have been like a paint effect or something, because it's really quite difficult to get the needle through in some places. It's evening now, so I hope this video is not too dark for you. It's just that it's nice and cool at the moment, so I thought I'd come back in here and do a little bit more stitching. And it's nice to kind of keep going once you're in the flow of it as well. So, okay, so I will come up and down that, and just catch it in various places. You won't be able to see it. Now that I've got it anchored, I can take that out, and using my needle, just, you know, kind of arrange it the way I want to. It doesn't have to be in a perfectly straight line either. And so that's what I'm going to do along. When I get to here, I'll probably, you know, I might couch it there a little bit, like there, let it, maybe twist it, maybe a twist and couch it there, and then bring it up, but I don't want it all the way up, so I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and I've decided not to take it up around the corner. It was laid down like that after I couched that little bit there on, and I quite like the way that looked, so I'm going to leave it like that for the time being. I've got this, it is Madeira Floss, and I'm using all 6 strands. It's not quite the same colour as what I used there. I just the blue kind of annoys me because it's quite bright. So I'm just going to try something. I'm going to try a little blanket stitch up the side here, and which I know sounds a bit odd, but because I thought I could add a few, like a bit of tasseling in this colour over the top to soften it a bit. If it doesn't look any good, I can take it out, but I need to try it, so. Quite big with that, but I need it to be quite heavy to make like a little border, and then put a bit of tassel over the top just to soften all that blue. I'll see how it goes anyway. I'll go ahead and I'll do some blanket. I don't know whether I'll be doing it all the way around though, just a little bit. So if I take it maybe halfway up, and Anne showed how to do this on one of the tags of last year, when she did the bit of tasseling, and I thought at the time, where would I ever use that, and now I'm thinking of using it, so it's good, isn't it? Well, it is if it works out. Okay, so maybe a couple more. Don't want it halfway, maybe a little bit higher than halfway. Okay, stop that there. And I can come back and put the tassels on. So that's that. Like that. Going up there. Now maybe we'll use some of this on here. That might be nice, just a little bit in that corner. Let's just give it a bit more of trim. Just take it to there. I'll cut it all off there, I think. That way, if I need any more, I can take it from that little bit there, rather than all of that. Scissors didn't want to go in. Okay, so what I might do is just trim that on a bit of an angle. And have that. I don't know if there's a right and wrong way. Actually, I think there is. I think that might be. So I'll just trim that one there, around like that. And maybe that way. Or the other way. Oh no, that's fine. I'm going to come up, I think, and that. And I thought maybe just some French knots to hold it in place. Like that. Do I want it scrunched up a bit like that? That might be nice. Like that. Okay. How's that looking? It's a bit hard to see, and sometimes it looks different from through the camera. That's what I'm doing. See how I've just scrunched it up a little bit there, and just doing some French knots in there. What are we going to do? Looks very, maybe I'll put a bead in between them or something, just to, because it looks very rigid. What am I going to do here? Maybe a bit of not sure, unless I just continue along, and like I said, put a couple of beads in between, perhaps. That might be alright, yeah. I don't need to go all the way along. I think I'll only take it a certain way because my rabbit's ears come like that, so I'll only, maybe I'll only do a couple more. Okay. I don't like the yellow that much, but I'm going to leave it because it might be a nice contrast. And of course the blanket stitch and the French knots were all in the sample pages that we did. I did have to get my, oh, there we go, I got it. I did have to get my little book out though to show me how to start the blanket stitch off, because I get a bit confused when I start that one, so it's handy to have something to show me what I'm doing. What are we going to do here? Perhaps I can couch it a little bit now. Okay. Like that. That might work. And one here. About there, I think. Is that right? No, a little bit further along. maybe about there. Like that. My ears are going to come up there, so I could probably just leave that there, because where's my thing? Like, if my ears are going like that, I can have that coming out the other side there. That would be nice. And then maybe I'll do that blanket stitch all the way down that side there then. Then I've got to try putting tassels in it, don't I? Or fringing, that's the word, fringing in it. Okay, I will just, I won't couch it on, I'll just put a couple of little stitches because, well, it is couching in a way, I guess. Just little stab stitches because it won't be seen. Just like that. Keep it flat, this part. There we go. And one over here as well, I think. Yeah. Okay. Like that. Okay. Alright, so that's that. Still not, we'll see. It might look fine because there's bits of yellow in this fabric here as well. Yellow is not really a colour I go for, but you know, it can look really nice. That'll be fixed. Okay, so I want to try a little bit of the fringing. I can't remember how to do it. I wonder if this little book has anything in it that might help. Because I can't quite remember how we did it off the top of my head. I do have yes, I do. You just loop it through, don't you? Of course you do. Alright, let me have a look. We'll try. So I think we had to have, let's try not to get too many tangles in this. I found this at the op shop and it was kind of tangled when I found it, so I don't want it any more tangled. Somebody had pulled it out or started it. See how they ripped it off? Okay, how is this? I can trim it, so I don't want to cut it too short because the shorter you cut it, the harder it is to work with, I think. So let's try that just to start with, and put it over there. I know there's a loop in it, but that's okay because they'll be trimmed. So, if I recall, it might be handy to have a crochet hook. So you go down like that. Bring it through, I think. And then do we bring that through there? I think so. Like that. Maybe I did it the wrong way. Maybe it's too thick. Hang on. See, it looks better hanging that way than that way, doesn't it? Maybe I'll feed it through the opposite way. Ah, that's better. It doesn't look too bad. Like that. And then, to get a better idea, maybe. And I purposely just did that a little bit ragged rather than absolutely straight. And I'll do that over the top of that blue so it's not so bright, because that green there is like the green in these leaves here, so hopefully it will look a little bit better if some of that blue is covered up, and that's going to take me quite some time. I think I've worked out how to do this, so let me just see if I can show you it on camera. The more you do it, the easier it gets. So you put that in, pull it through so you've got a nice big loop, and then grab the rest of it, twist it and bring that through, and there you go. So much easier than what I made it look like last time, so not hard at all. So that's done now, and that's probably the end of this video. That is the background using vintage lace, and I still have to do my embellishment, but I don't want to get too far ahead because I don't know what Rachel or Sarah are going to be putting up on their next video. They haven't done their embellishments yet either, so I mean, I have a good idea of what I'm doing. I will have to make it a little bit smaller than this one, I think, and that's just quite easy to do. I'll just take, I'm thinking, just take a little bit off. It's just a little bit, because you know, you never really know how much room you're going to have when you first start. Okay, let's have a look at that. And the length, I don't know about the length, but that still fits in that little gap fairly well. And this is just like the little template, so I can have fabric coming over it, but that's pretty much, I hope that looks like a rabbit. Okay, we don't want pointy ears though. Okay, and this part here is just the front, like the bib part of the rabbit, like that. It's like a little portraiture of a rabbit, like that. Yeah, I can always come back and put a couple more seed stitches in there, but I don't think I'll need to, because like I said, that's my little pattern piece that I've made, and I can make the fabric a little bit bigger if I want to, but I'll do that in the next video. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed what I've done. I hope it didn't go on forever and ever. Like I say, that won't be quite so straight there. I have an idea of kind of pinching it over a little bit just to, so it's not so straight. But I do like the way the fringing turned out. I think that softened the blue quite a bit. I still have bits of blue showing, but I'm all right with that. I think that'll be fine. So there we go. care, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye.